Hello, my name is Mark Monlux. I'm going to be this week's host for Epic Sketch Time. I'm a freelance illustrator here in Tacoma, Washington. And with me today are a couple other cartoonists. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator working out of Seattle, Washington, and I also do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, which you can find at rhapsodies.wpmorse.com.
Hi, my name's Law. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I am a freelance, artist, and you can find me at madmonkeylove.com or anything with Mad Monkey Love. That's it.
And you'll find all of these links to people who've showed up on Epic Sketch Time more than 3 times. They get a link down here in the doobly-doo. So check us out. And gentlemen, what have you been doing since the last time we spoke?
Well, I've been mostly working on my comic strip buffer since I am going to be wasting a whole lot of time in New England having a proper family Thanksgiving for the first time in over 20 years.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's U.S. Thanksgiving. Oh, that means Black Friday. Yeah.
Oh, yes, the horrors. I'll be interested to seeing if the one in downtown Providence is saner than Seattle's, because I mean, the last time I was dumb enough to go there to do the people watching, I got myself caught between a Black Lives Matter protest and the heavily armed cops, and I'm kind of having WTO flashbacks. Which is not pretty.
Yeah. You guys gonna plan to run out there on Black Friday, or are you gonna shop online?
I never shop on Black Friday anyway. I just find it entertaining to take in the scene if it's, as I said, not too insane.
Right.
My wife has an iPad, and its battery's been getting worse and worse, so it can't even hold a charge anymore. And so she was on the horn trying to get a reservation with the Genius Bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4:30.
She wasn't thinking. And they said, oh, the earliest we can put you in is on Friday at 6:30. You know, pretty much at the height of the madness at the mall.
Yeah, considering
I totally forgot it was going to be Black Friday, and I totally forgot that it was going to be my day off. And is it what you were planning on just doing this after work or something? She says, yeah. And so she's a little bummed.
Considering what the Mac store is like on normal days. Quick question before I start working on it. Do I have, as far as my composition, do you think I have too much dead space on the bottom?
What are you planning to do? I mean, what's this for?
It's just a portfolio piece at the moment.
So why does it have to be 8.5 by 11? You can make it square.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill, you can literally put like hay at the bottom to point it towards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way you can crop it any size, right? That's what you could do, like put shadows or hay or something that actually looks like it's pointing towards the cage itself. So it forces the person to focus in. Right now it's just blank because it's your rough, right?
Right.
Then at the bottom you can put tiles or stones or something, kind of like perspectively pushing it in.
Yeah, got it.
You have room, like later on, if you want to do 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17, at least you have that space to move things around, right?
Yeah.
You may want to even leave some space down there at the bottom to put in some shell casings.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not getting the joke. Okay.
Shell casings.
I'm referring to Locke's illustration where he's got shell casings on the bottom third of his image.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was asked for by a friend to do maybe a pinup for his second issue of a comic, and he sketched out a rough of something he wanted where the character is in a some sort of high-tech diving suit that's lying on the ground, and soldiers or assault teams surrounding it, and you got that silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to put something at the bottom just in case if, again, like the shell casing and the floor to actually focus you towards that, towards the character. And also at the bottom too, I think where the hand and all that stuff, there might be some UPC codes or something later on. So I needed those dead space around the area just in case for logos, pricing, and whatever else that you want to throw in. So
always a good way to plan ahead.
Especially when you're doing covers or pinups, because I wasn't sure if he's going to use this for a cover. He asked for a pinup, but he told me to leave some space at the top just in case he wants to throw in title portion in that space, then whatever else, maybe subtext or something, you know, coming soon or next issue or something.
I'm working on every year at Emerald City Comic Con. They produce a book called Monsters and Dames, and I've been putting this thing off for the longest time. And I need to have this done by tomorrow in order to send it in. And I'm just at this stage, so I'm going to try to crank it out. I hope I have time. I was going to work on it today, but I had a client call, and he kept me busy all day doing storyboards, and so now I'm working on it now. But that's how it is. Some of your best pieces turn out to be things that you just had to pound out in no time. You not spend and dawdle a whole lot on. Lord knows I have absolutely no dawdle time left.
Mark, are you sharing your screen?
Oh, geez, am I not sharing my screen?
No, I don't see anything. There. Are you?
Well,
I'm talking now. Do you see it when I'm talking?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay. So let me, this is the concept. Basically, a little girl with having a tea party with the monster underneath the bed, with the monster wearing the bed as a hat.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. Hopefully, it's not too gimmicky, because I'm pretty sure that they've had little girls having tea parties with monsters before. I'm hoping the whole hat as a bed, bed as a hat thing will get me extra points.
Mm-hmm. So it's a competition as well?
This, it's not a guaranteed entry.
Oh.
It's a jury thing. You have to be an artist at the show in order to get in.
Yeah.
But no, they have the right to say, no, your work's not up to snuff. And part of the reason is they've got hundreds of artists and only like about 120 pages in Monsters and Dames. If I'm lucky, maybe they'll extend the deadline. That's what they did last time.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the good artists get to be on, have time to do it over Thanksgiving. You know. So maybe they're purposely planning it that way. Some years they've extended the deadline, and other years they haven't. So this is what I was working on earlier today. This is a simple instructions for a video shoot. When you gentlemen look at this, even without reading it, what do you get?
That it's composing a tracking shot by the look of it.
There you go.
Is this the same guy you do storyboards for?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I do storyboards for a couple different people, but this is my primary guy that I do storyboards for. And he's actually a pretty good art director. Has a really keen eye. It's just that sometimes the people that he gives instructions to don't quite get it, or he needs to have something to be there in case he can't be for the shoot. In this case, the shoot is happening in another state, so he definitely can't be there. But this is an ongoing video series, so the people that we're talking with, they've seemed to be doing a pretty good job, both the editor, camera guy, and the host, of understanding what we're sending them. I'm thinking about leaving these two little teeth that I have in the image completely off. Maybe I'll add them later on, but I think they just might be distracting at this point.
Mm. Hmm.
You gentlemen remember our good friend Stowe?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is he having any luck with the tech issues?
No, I wasn't going to talk about his tech issues. I was going to talk about his Kickstarter campaign for the second book of Sidekick Quest,
Mm-hmm.
and the role-playing game and playbook for that game that he's been doing on Kickstarter. It ended yesterday, and he's successful. He managed to get full funding for his Kickstarter.
Great.
Since he's done one Kickstarter before, I'm pretty sure he was talking about how pleased he was. In addition to that, he applied for and got a position on the Tacoma Arts Commission.
Nice.
So he'll be one of the people that helps the Tacoma City Council speak art, as it were, and review all the various applications that come over for the Art Commission. And anyone can do this. And people say, well, why don't you do it? And I say, well, because the rules clearly state that if you are on the Art Commission, then you cannot participate in or apply for any city projects for 2 years. After you've done your, basically while you're on board, you can't do anything. Conflict of interest and all that noise. And while Stowe hasn't done anything for the city, I have. I did, I think 3 or 4 years ago, I was fortunate enough to I wanted to do a public service announcement about copyright.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 2 animations. They never had someone do animations before about copyright. And what we decided to do was work it so that they could release these on, this city has its own TV network.
Nice.
I mean, an actual cable company, not just it's one channel, but they own the entire. Way back when Comcast had control, people in Tacoma were complaining so much about their lack of not being able to get viable channels that the city council decided to spend the money, wire the entire city, and then do their own network. And that was very successful for a number of years. I think they sold off the rights to the cable company last year. But the moment they did that, suddenly I got the Sci-Fi Channel and everything else that I'd been begging my cable company for years to give us. And yeah, sure, that's a little bit of competition, and that got things rolling. I'm working in Illustrator today using the blob tool.
Ah, that's what I thought you were doing, but
yeah, I wanted to give it a shot. If I do it inside Illustrator, then I tend to, pardon me, not inside Illustrator, inside Photoshop. I tend to spend all this time cleaning up my black edges and lines, trying to make them crisper. And I'm thinking, you know, I really don't have time to fuss like that.
Yeah, I've only used the blob tool once since Stowe did a tutorial of it at this cartoonist group of mine, and it was for a map, and I need to do more of it because it turned out worked pretty well for some stuff I normally have trouble with.
How familiar are you with the blob tool, Locke?
I don't really use Illustrator for drawing. I use Illustrator when it comes down to drawing. It's mostly mouse and keyboard, like vector, very round circles, cut, paste, you know, those kind of things. I try not to use a lot of that because a lot of my Illustrator is just graphic design, like literally graphic design, just putting stuff down. If I need to get like drawings or illustration to a certain way, it's always drawn first. Then I don't use the blob tool though. I just, you know, draw it out in Illustrator, then apply a line effect on each one as I need it to, or, you know, those kind of things. But it's a slow process for me. Graphic design is quick for me. It's just, you know, cut, paste, copy, stuff like that. All right. What did he say?
I also saw Bohemian Rhapsody this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's a lot of people I've been talking to are raving about it and saying that I have to see it in the big screen.
I would encourage you to see it in the big screen. It'll certainly provide more of the desired effect than seeing it on the small screen.
Mm-hmm. So how does it compare with other band biopics?
Well, you have your standard story of, you know, people kind of, you know, living the rock and roll lifestyle and getting a little burnt out. The eventual band split up. You know, those things are almost rote.
Yeah.
But hey, if they happen in real life, they happen.
It's interesting. I was listening to a couple of essays on the three act format, and I was wondering if biography films are one of the exceptions to that rule.
What's the 3-act format?
Oh, it's this generally with the whole something movie critics talk about, that all movies are in 3 acts, or at least should be.
I know there's a way to get this blob tool to be smaller. I just can't remember how to do it.
I thought you just did the up and down with the bracket tool like you do with the brushes on Photoshop.
A bracket tool?
Yeah, the square bracket.
A square bracket.
Next to the PO, those guys on your keyboard.
Oh.
That's to increase or decrease your brush size.
Oh, it does it. Awesome. Well, you know. Thanks.
You go Control-1 if you want to zoom out to 1:1.
Okay.
Control plus, Control minus if you want to zoom in and out on your keyboard. And the all thing that we always remember to do is Control S.
I'm going to try that in and out. That's nice.
Yeah, I usually really one hand and, control one, control, like that. So that way you can just keep going in and out. So you can really go buzz right through it. Then because you're near the control, I usually use my thumb to press down stuff. It becomes a drag tool, and you can just drag around with your stylus. So if you hold down the space bar on its own.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, that's me, right?
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Blue. All right. What is in the back of that helmet? I don't have any reference photo for this stuff. Man. Let's see.
Bill, tell me about, did you check out any movies, or are you not checking out any movies since you're going off to see your folks soon?
I am not checking anything out tomorrow, but I did check out a pair for this week, which was of which my theme was screwball comedies written by Billy Wilder. So that was Ball of Fire and Navachowska, starring Greta Garbo.
Is Navachowska, is that the one where she's a Russian, comes over to the U.S. and then lures into a life of hedonism?
Paris and mostly the same, yeah. Essentially, she is a Russian agent who's essentially, it starts with three bumbling agents who are trying to sell some white Russian jewelry, and turns out that a count, who's a waiter at the hotel they're staying at, recognizes them and informs the countess, who was the original owner of the jewels, and her boyfriend creates an injunction to put a hold on the stolen jewels. And he, along with creating a nuisance with this frivolous lawsuit, he also seduces the heck out of these three Russians by getting them drunk and introducing them to the fun parts of Paris. And so Garbo plays their immediate superior, who comes to clean up after them, and she is hilarious as somebody who could have played, if she was the age she was in if she was the age that she was in that film in the 60s, Gene Roddenberry would have said, heck, let's make Spock a girl. Because she does the no-nonsense deadpan perfectly.
I remember watching that film.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't gotten to that part yet, but apparently Bela Lugosi has a cameo as her boss in what apparently is one of his few non-horror roles, though apparently he's still very creepy. But they're both very fun films.
I won't tell you how it ends then.
Mm.
Some of my favorite scenes are towards the last part of the film.
And I enjoyed a lot of the humor. I mean, I like a lot of the dialogue so far.
What was the other film in that?
Ball of Fire. That's the one that's loosely based on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where a gangster mole is hiding out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that one too. I like that one a little bit better of the two.
Mm. I haven't seen. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of Navasco's for tonight. I didn't see it all last night because I've been trying to get myself onto Eastern time, and so pretty much going to bed at 8 o'clock for the last couple of days.
You know, that was a pretty good movie. Why don't you go ahead and tell people who's in it?
Gary Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck and the guy who plays Carl in Casablanca.
For people who've never seen Casablanca, and I know it's hard to believe that there is a few, who's Carl? Casablanca? That guy who plays Carl isn't really a big.
I don't know, man.
Well,
anybody after the like after 2000 or born in 2000 probably have not.
I don't see how that's even possible. I mean, Casablanca is the American film. It's got everything. It's got World War II. It's got Nazis. It's got the immigrant experience.
Well, it still doesn't beat Lawrence of Arabia. That's my favorite film.
Well, David Lean is good.
Yes.
But admittedly, that does not take away from Mark's point, because Lawrence of Arabia is a British film.
Yeah. I still like that film. It's beautifully shot. I saw it on IMAX. It was just fantastic.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
That is something that that is one of the films that IMAX was made for.
Yeah.
Did you see it when it was re-released, or?
Yeah, when it got re-released, IMAX, and yeah, I saw it when I guess I was going to college, and it's those nights where you're out with your friends and stuff like that, and all my friends were some sort of film students and stuff, so I went to see it. But it was just fantastic.
I admit I've never seen a David Lean film that I do not like.
It does not pass the Bechdel test, though.
Mainly because I'm not aware of any, not counting the hooded cabins on those camels, I'm not aware of any female characters in the movie.
Yeah, a lot of World War II flicks. Though I will say that I did go see Overlord, and it passes the Bechdel test.
Oh, yeah, I think you said.
Yeah, but that was when just you and I were talking one day, Bill. Nobody watching this probably heard that conversation. Bill and I talk almost every day, so. So, Locke, you family man, what's been keeping your evenings busy?
This is pretty much, this past couple weeks, I've just been mostly trying to catch up on a lot of last minute stuff. There's the Ontario Police, the OPP, or police force here, they reached out to me because I've done a lot of charity work before for like the hospitals, what they call United Way, all that stuff where they call sketches for pledge. And they reached out to me and see if I can do some, I guess the equivalent, Captain Canuck or Captain Canada is pretty much some original sketches.
A friend of mine is a huge fan of that comic.
Yeah, they reached out to me and see if I can contact Chapter House, which is the publisher, because I did some cover for them. Yeah. And they asked if I can get some books or something like that, to where they can actually auction it off for United Way. And I said, yeah, I'll try to get it, but I think Chapter House is they're pretty busy. I reached out to a couple friends of mine there, and they say, yeah, they're behind on printing because Chapter House doesn't print a lot because they're not like Marvel or DC. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they only print so many runs of the stuff, then everything else goes on to either Comixology or something like that.
Right.
So the other option now is I'm looking at actually doing some original, pen and ink with maybe some Copic.
Yeah.
And providing that for them so they can actually auction it off for United Way. So that's one thing. But then just catching up. I booked for Niagara Falls. There's the big Niagara Falls Comic Con already. I already got my I already booked, sent me my payment. So, but that's not till June. Booked my hotel, and a lot of the other cons are reaching out to me and saying, okay, so it's just paperwork now. just doing paperwork and making sure I'm pre-booked for next year, where I'm going to be, what date, and trying not to, it's scheduling right now. So that's really what I'm doing. Then the last con I just did was just this weekend, but I was just a special guest for signing a book that I did, like a variant cover. But, that was, you sit there all day and nobody kind of showed up, right? It's a Sunday and.
Oh. Was it one of those one-day Facebook event type shows?
Yeah. I met a lot of people who were interested, but they just came out, in cosplay. They didn't buy anything or anything like that, but it was still good, getting my face out there. That's really what counts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I got a stack of books, which is kind of nice, which I haven't seen in a while. I did a variant cover for Chapter House and for their issue 0. And it's a limited run, and they gave me like a whole stack of them, and they said, yeah, just keep 5, and if you sell any, just let us know, and all that other stuff. But I get to keep 5 right now. The funny part was I saw them in the bins of the dealer bins. They're going for about $10 now. That's how much they're worth. And I'm like, do I open this? If I sign this, does it go down in value?
If you sign your own cover, does it go down in value? You obviously have great value for your own artwork.
It's one of those things where the book is really nice and tight and sealed and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, if I open this up. Man, this thing used to be worth $10. Now you signed it. Yeah. Then another creator. It's called Ocanto and Co. It's kind of like this. What you're seeing here is he reached out to me and he said he's working on issue number 2. If I like to do a cover or pinup or something like that. So he roughed out an idea what he wanted on a piece of paper, and that's what I'm doing now is just doing layout, and I'm actually chatting with him on Facebook right now, Messenger, going back and forth with him. So
I signed up for I got an account on Line now, LINE. For those of you who are listening that watch anime, Line is sort of like the Japanese, it's the preferred app in Japan for sending text messages for each other. It's basically like Facebook Messenger, but it's been around forever. And you can find me at Monlux.com? No, I actually have a Line. They give you a little Line code. I'm going to have to look it up, see what my Line code is. But I have some friends in Japan, and they were thrilled when I got on it. And I have some friends who I went to Japan. We became friends because of necessity. We all were part of this same group that went over together. Let's see. There's an official Paul McCarthy's online. Who knew? Let's see. I've got a QR. I have a QR reader here. So maybe I should be able to, what's my QR code? You basically can show each other your QR code and sign up that way, but there's another, where's the code?
That's the same thing as Instagram. Instagram has that built in where you can just go to your profile setting, call it up, and the other person call up their camera, and they kind of, that's how you link each other.
Apparently, you can also shake your phone at each other, and that'll do it. If you have that setting on. Oh, man. Well, maybe it's not these settings. Haven't been on, as you might have guessed, I haven't been online for very long.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, sometimes if when I have two screens going, my mouse will not work if I'm using. Well, folks, I'll have to mention what my line address is later, or you can just reach out on me on Facebook, and I'll send you the QR code. Because right now I cannot figure it out.
Probably somewhere in your profile, no?
Oh, let me try looking at my profile. Let's see if I can find my profile. Let's see. Oh, my line ID is the Grand Poobah 62.
For that many Grand Poobahs?
I didn't want to try. I was getting kind of. I tried Grand Poobah, and someone already had the Grand Poobah, and went, you know what? I'm just going to type in the Grand Poobah 62. That's going to be good enough. Sure enough, I got it. It's not what my name still pops up as Mark Monlux as my display name, but your line ID is how people find you. So maybe I should change my display name to the Grand Poobah as well, instead of having my real name out there. Oh, looks like I could do that, but I think I'll leave my real name out there.
I always use the same handle all the way across, so, you know, Mad Monkey Love for everything. So at least that way it's kind of like a branding on my end.
One of the things I did do is to dissuade people from stealing my identity. What's it called? There's a prepaid legal service called Legal Shield. And I decided that since I had an online presence, that I should have some protection in case people still want my online information. Sort of like things that they want you to have in a place ahead of time before they hit you, so that should they hit you, you can simply say, oh yeah, these people tried to steal my ID, and it basically it speeds up the whole recovery process, so that you get your identification back. It takes just a week or so rather than a couple months. Yeah, I highly recommend Legal Shield for anybody. You never know when you might need some legal services. Certainly, they were very helpful on getting your standard, things like wills and what have you prepared. It's all part of a monthly service, and you just keep their address in your pocket. They've got branches throughout the country. So if I was having financial, let's say that on my next trip to Denver, I get someone who throws himself inside my car and decides to try to sue me, or I have an issue with the hotel that I'm staying at, I can just call them up on the phone and put them on the horn. To give you an example, real life example, one of my friends had Legal Shield, and their little kid was running around by the pool and tore their toe open on a piece of jagged concrete. So the mother goes to the front desk and simply asks, "Oh, my kid tore his toe open on the concrete up by the pool. Could I please have a Band-Aid?" That's all she wanted, was a Band-Aid. And the manager took a look and says, "Oh, I can't. If we do that, we're admitting that we're liable." And so she punched the 800 number, got somebody on the phone, and handed the phone over to the manager. "Here, talk to this person." And within 15 minutes, not only did she have a Band-Aid, but their room was comped. In another instance, another friend of mine, he was arrested. It was the police said there was a warrant out for him, and there was no such thing warrant out for him. So he quickly called up Legal Shield, handed the cop who had him in the back seat, handed him his phone and said, "Here, talk to my lawyer." And they didn't even take him in. They said, "Oh, there was a case of mistaken identity. You're free to go, sir." So he didn't even have to get booked. But yeah. Because you never know. So, Locke, do they have something like Legal Shield in Canada, or is that strictly in the States, or have you heard of this service?
I think it's more in the States than anything else. Because I don't think we get that here. I mean, police officer pulls you over, but unless your plate is a stolen car or something like that, but most likely, the only, a little more sane here. I could have used them when I was when I got T-boned when I was living in California, though.
Oh yeah, that would have saved you something.
Yeah. It was just, I got the lady sued me because she ran a red light. And she T-boned my car.
How'd that end for you?
It was fine. My insurance company took care of it, but it was just one of those things where they were just looking for an excuse or something like that. And I was like, I wasn't expecting it. I just out of the blue. I mean, there was red light cameras and all this other stuff. And she was on the phone and she wasn't paying attention and she just ran the light. I was the lucky third person pulling out of the, and I got slammed. All right, I think I will start doing some inking.
So my wife and I started watching a new anime. We were drawn in by the title. That time I died and was reincarnated as a slime.
Okay.
Is that on Netflix?
No, it's on Crunchyroll.
Oh, Crunchyroll.
But oh my God, it is a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 stars. It is hilarious and it's funny and it's pretty good. Ever since Sword Art Online was a fairly good success, there have been all these other, I'm sort of like in a video game, or this world is video game-esque, or there's a structure to this world similar to a video game type stuff out there. And this is one of those. I'm assuming both of you have watched Sword Art Online.
A few episodes. Well, a little bit.
Few episodes. Oh, Bill, you're denying yourself a real pleasure. We're on season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3. No, season 5. How about you, Locke?
No time.
Ah!
I'm off for I got all the seasons for my daughter or whatever it is. She watches it like you wouldn't believe, and she's on the Crunchyroll thing too. It's on her iPad, so.
How old is your daughter?
12. The oldest one is 12. The youngest one is 4. She's going to be 5 in February, so we're just trying to, it's the holiday season. We're winding down. I need to work on some new pieces. I got to get everything all ready for all sorts of stuff. I'm waiting for my friend to send me the 12-page script so I can actually work on the second issue. And I think the guys are talking at, I think the company's called Source Point Press or something like that. So we might get our magazine published there. So they might pick it up.
Nice.
Yeah, well, the Cauldron magazine. You know, it's the magazine we did was just basically a homage to heavy metal. You know, epic magazines and all that other stuff. So, yeah. Each issue be 3 stories around there. I think 12 pages or something. And or I don't know, maybe 4 stories. Then we're trying to do it every 6 months, maybe an issue every 6 months, biannual, I guess. And if we get picked up, because we just got funded the first issue, we raised about 3,000-4,000 just to get 500-600 copies, and that's pretty much it. And now we're figuring out how do we. A lot of people are starting to ask for it, right? Because the guy's been on a lot of the podcasts and stuff like that, just pushing it as much as they can. Then
Right.
People are like, where can we get it? That's the next thing. I need to look for printers up here in Toronto, around the area, so I can actually see the paper type and stuff. I'm gonna get new prints and posters and stuff done.
I think Transcontinental is located in Quebec and not Toronto. But you may want to check about that because we know that they've done a fair amount of stuff.
Yeah,
What's the province that's heavily French?
Yeah, Quebec, you mean, or Ontario?
I know that this place is in the place that's heavily French because I always have a hard time talking with them.
That's Quebec.
Yeah, most places, I guess, east of us, even in Ontario where I live, north of us will be mostly heavily French, French Canadian. But then you go towards east, past Toronto, towards once you get to Ottawa, around that area, it's really, really heavily French, right? So that's mostly what you're talking at. But as you get further south, it's English, and further west, it's all English. Either way, but we're the heart of Canada, I guess. Ontario is basically the heart where they mostly spoke. Here, anyways. In Toronto, you won't. It's rare you'll see people walking around talking French and stuff, but the shops and stuff like that's all English. Then once you get into Quebec, it's the reverse of that, right? Unless you're in the tourist area where it's mostly English. But even then, the French here is not the same thing as the French, the Parisian French. So it's a lot different. The Parisian from Europe thinks we're barbaric the way we pronounce our words. So. Yeah, I'm looking for, when I was living in California, I just love going to the print shops over there because they let me go behind the counter and pick the paper type. And
oh yeah, I love being able to go into a print shop over here. They love it if you can come in and take a tour. The print shops just love you for doing that.
Yeah, because at least I can get some sample done or something like that, and actually feel the paper and look at the. How if I want it uncoded, at least I have an idea when I do my digital painting and format my file correctly, instead of just most of these places here feels like I'm walking the Kinko. You know what I mean? You just hand them the file and they come back an hour later and it's just crap. right? The machine isn't calibrated correctly or something like that. They just run it through a digital printer. It's like a Xerox machine, and they just throw it at you. You know, you get what you get, right?
Yeah.
I like going back there, and they show me the paper type, and I say, "Can you print on that?" And they say, "Well, that will cost a lot bit more." And I say, "If I want to uncode it, at least I know, how long the ink takes to dry and stuff like that. At least I can send them some samples. Then I can work out the detail how I send them my files and stuff. And that way, after that, I just say, here's the PDF, or get me 20 of this, 20 of that, 20. That's simple. I can walk away. Don't have to worry about it."
When I started in the business, you didn't even start talking about designing a piece with the client until you've lined up a printer ahead of time.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's, oh, well, just send me a PDF. Isn't that good enough? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. I really have to trust them to actually do that, because, a few times I sent stuff into some of these places, and it's it's just darker than the last time I got it printed, or too light, or something like that, and or the cutting is off, or something like that. And I just hate handing over stuff where I see this little sliver of white on my edge.
Oh, yes.
It just throws me off. I know, because I already compensated for the frame and the safe area. I know that if they're going to throw it into an 8x10 frame or an 8x11 frame, there's at least, something there. But even then, I see that little sliver of white. My last set of print, I did these dark mall print where it's mostly black all around, and he's holding a light, that lightsaber, and that's what's lighting the scene.
And there's even a name for that sliver. I'm trying to remember what that white sliver is called.
Oh. Yeah. It's I'm looking at it, I'm staring at it, and that's all I see.
That is the epitome of something done badly.
Yeah, right. They said it was their blade, right? The cutting machine is just.
Oh yes, always something.
Yeah. I said, well, that's I ordered 100 of these, and I got this white sliver, and it looked like the frame's off, right?
Did you not pay?
I paid. I already paid. It was too late by the time.
No, never sign off on something. Don't pay them until they sign off.
No, I mean, I used them before. It's just, I don't know, all of a sudden it was just, here it is. It's like, that's not right. Right?
That is not.
That's the thing. I usually go in and I look at one person and I say, you're responsible, and here's the email. I just send it, but I guess my print shop just sent it off to somebody else, and something happened anyways.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's like OCD, you know what I mean? You see that little white sliver, and that's all you see, right? I mean, the print turned out beautifully. It's just that white sliver on that edge there. It just.
Well, gentlemen, it's been another hour of epic sketch time. I want to thank you both for joining me today. And
all right. Happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen.
Yep. Thank you.
If you guys would like to join us here at Epic Sketch Time sometime in the future, just go to the link down below in the doobly-doo. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. How do I stop my share? Ah, that's wrong.
Woo.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Mouse. Where's the mouse? Stop. Click. There we go. So if you would like to join us for Epic Sketch Time, there is a sign-up link in the description below. We'll send out an email that weekend, much like I didn't do this weekend. Sorry about that, guys, but thank you for coming. And then we'll send out an invite on Monday, inviting you into the group. If you're on Twitter and would like to be part of our Twitter reminder, you can reach me at Mark Monlux. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Well, next week.
That's right.
Next.
Again, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yep.
Thank you guys later.
Bye-bye. Oh, this mouse is not cooperating. There we go.